In 1732, General James Edward Oglethorpe set sail from Gravesend, England with a vision for a new kind of city, a place of order, purpose, and beauty. With him were about 120 colonists, men, women, and children, braving the Atlantic for the promise of a new life in what would become the colony of Georgia. That vision became Savannah, designed with a grid of squares and organized wards, each with its own civic heart. Among them stands Calhoun Ward, steeped in history, shadowed by Spanish moss, and shaped by the hands of time. From the steps of Massey School to the two steeples of Wesley Monumental Church, this ward tells a story of Savannah's past in brick, iron, and silence. Join us now as we walk the shaded streets and unlock the forgotten echoes of Calhoun Ward, where history lives just beneath the surface. But before we go there, please take a moment to like and subscribe to our channel. Please leave a comment too. Believe it or not, most of our viewers are not yet subscribed. If you will, you'll be notified of our newest videos as soon as they're published. I'd love it if you'd buy me a coffee too. It'll help me continue producing great content for you. Just click the link in the description below. In fact, you'll find a lot more about Calhoun Ward and its people there. Calhoun Ward was established in 1851. It was part of the continued expansion of the city beyond the original Oglethorpe plan as Savannah's population grew and the antebellum economy flourished. Calhoun Ward was established just to the lower left of the compass rose in this 1818 map of Savannah. The ward was named for John C. Calhoun, the South Carolina statesman, vice president, Democrat, nullifier, and outspoken advocate for slavery, a controversial figure even in his own time. In 2023, the square was renamed in honor of Susie King Taylor, a remarkable and largely unsung heroine of American history, a woman of iron will and uncommon grace who defied the strictures of slavery and war to carve her own place in the annals of the 19th century. Born enslaved in Liberty County, Georgia, she was secretly educated in Savannah, where laws forbade the formal schooling of African Americans. When the Civil War broke out, she escaped to Union-occupied St. Simon's Island. There, she became the first black Army nurse to serve openly with an all-black regiment, the 1st South Carolina Volunteers, later the 33rd U.S. Colored Troops. But she was far more than a nurse. She was a teacher to formerly enslaved soldiers, a laundress, a caregiver, and, most enduringly, a memoirist. In 1902, she published Reminiscences of My Life in Camp, a rare first-hand account from an African-American woman of the Civil War. Her writing is lucid, poignant, and filled with both patriotism and sorrow, an unflinching look at what freedom cost. In short, Susie King Taylor was a living paradox in her time, a literate black woman, born a slave, serving with honor in a war to end slavery, yet denied the full fruits of that freedom for the rest of her life. Jones Street in Savannah, a place where time seems to pause, allowing the whispers of history to dance through the air. Often hailed as the prettiest street in Savannah, this thoroughfare is a living tapestry of the city's antebellum elegance and southern charm.
This home at 101 East Jones is on record of having been built for Elizabeth S. Hunter in 1870. She died in 1872 and is buried in Laurel Grove Cemetery North. Elizabeth was the wife of William Pressman Hunter, a civic leader and vestryman of Christ Church, who died in 1869. Their daughter Elizabeth married Captain Joseph Cleghorn of Connecticut. Cleghorn was an important businessman and Confederate military officer with the Chatham Artillery at Fort Pulaski until 1862. The Cleghorns lived at Wimberley near Isle of Hope. 103 East Jones was built in 1891 for Sarah L. Gazan. Mrs. Gazan was in business with Edward L. Bike on Bull Street as a tobacconist and railroad ticket broker. The city directory of 1892 records her residence as 101 East Jones, next door. In 1893, she boarded at the DeSoto Hotel. Well known among the social circle, Sarah's whereabouts were often noted in the newspaper. This residence at 107 East Jones and the brick one next door at 109 were built for Margaret Dibble in 1853. Not much is known about her. She is buried in a family vault at Laurel Grove Cemetery North. Otherwise, our research is inconclusive. 111 through 115 were built for Eliza Jewett between 1852 and 1853. Eliza was born in 1779 and died October 30th, 1856. She was a formidable figure in antebellum Savannah, a woman who, through grit and savvy, carved her name into the city's architectural and economic legacy. Born in North Carolina, she married twice, first to James Descombe, with whom she had 4 children, and later to Jasper Jewett, bearing 2 more children before his untimely death in 1819. Widowed twice and without substantial inheritance, Eliza defied societal norms by becoming a prolific real estate investor in her later years, a rare feat for women of her time. In her 70s, an age when most would retire, Eliza embarked on an ambitious building spree, commissioning over 20 residences across Savannah. Her house at 115 appeared in the movie Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil. In the movie, it served as the setting for a lively party, hosted by the character Joe Odom, a charismatic lawyer turned musician known for his free-spirited gatherings. 117 and 119 were also built for Eliza Jewett. These structures, characterized by Greek Revival details, stand as testaments to her vision and taste. Eliza's ventures were not merely economic, they were statements of independence and resilience. Operating in a male-dominated society, she maintained a low social profile, focusing on her investments rather than civic engagements. She died in 1856 at the age of 77 and is buried in Laurel Grove Cemetery North.
123 East Jones was built for Augustus Montfortbury in 1855, though it was not his permanent residence. His family, of French origin, moved from Haiti, finally settling in Savannah. His father became the French consul. Augustus remembered meeting the Marquis de Lafayette during the General's tour of America. He worked in the banking and loan industry, speculated in real estate, and served in the Savannah Volunteer Guards. He was known for his charity. Augustus never married. He's buried in Savannah's Catholic Cemetery. This home at 125 East Jones was built for Francis Weaver in 1856. While detailed personal records about Francis Weaver are limited, his contribution to Savannah's architectural landscape remains evident through this property. To the east is Clary's Cafe, originally a drugstore. Not a historic or architectural marvel, but in John Barron's book, Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil, Clary's is mentioned. In that scene, Barron writes about settling into life in Savannah and describes his morning routine. He begins going to Clary's Cafe for breakfast, a corner diner with simple food and a steady stream of locals. He notes the friendly waitresses and the quiet, observational atmosphere. Clary's becomes a window into Savannah's slow, unhurried rhythm, and senses that this place is more than it appears, a gathering spot where people know one another's histories and share local lore over grits and eggs. 207 to 211, known as Ruckert Row, was built in 1866 for Francis Ruckert. While little is known about Francis, we know that Adam Short was a master builder. This elegant brick residence showcases his skill in creating refined urban dwellings, blending functionality with aesthetic appeal. Born in Beaufort County, South Carolina in 1815, Holcomb established himself in Savannah as a wholesale grocer. He served 3 separate terms as an alderman and was elected mayor of Savannah, holding office from October 1862 to October 1863 during the tumultuous period of the Civil War. As a Democrat, he was deeply involved in both local and national politics. He died in 1885 and is buried in Laurel Grove Cemetery North. This lovely home on the corner of Lincoln and Jones Streets was built for James Grable. Grable was actively involved in Savannah's commercial scene as a cotton merchant. In 1866, he partnered with Heman A. Crane of Savannah and James S. Grable of Macon to form a business enterprise. Crane and James H. Grable served as general partners, while James S. Grable was a special partner. Grable's life and work reflect the resilience and growth of Savannah during the Reconstruction era. He died in 1880 at the age of 44. Proceeding to the corner of Lincoln and East Taylor Streets, we come to 220 and 224 East Taylor. These were built for George S. Ashe in 1868. George was a builder and property developer in Savannah during Reconstruction. His work remains a testament to the craftsmanship and architectural design of his time. The apartments at 219 through 225 were built for John Postell Sr. Captain Postell, born in 1854, was a notable figure in town. He was actively involved in the city's civic life and was known as an expert marksman. He died in 1919 and is buried in Bonaventure Cemetery. These townhomes were built for George Ashe and Francis Grimble in 1854. Francis, born in 1824, was another prominent builder and developer in mid-19th century Savannah. Born in Charleston County, South Carolina, he relocated to Savannah, where he left a lasting mark on the city's architectural landscape. He and wife Anna lived at Isle of Hope. Anna died in 1891. Francis died in 1899. Both are buried in Laurel Grove Cemetery North. .214 East Taylor was built for Andrew Hanley in 1883. Hanley was the owner of a well-known paint, oil, and varnish business, and he also dealt in cements, sashes, doors, and blinds. His business played a vital role in supplying materials for the construction and maintenance of buildings in Savannah during a period of rapid growth and modernization. He died in 1927, age 80. Andrew Hanley's endeavors in both commerce and construction left a lasting impact on Savannah's development. His work reflects the industrious spirit of the era and the city's evolution during the post-Civil War period. These 3 townhomes were also built for developer George Ashe. What a delightful urban retreat here in historic Savannah. 202 East Taylor was built for William Rogers. William was born in 1817 in Fife, Scotland. He was employed as general superintendent at the Central Railroad and Banking Company in Savannah. His first wife, Anne, died in 1852 at the age of 29 years. He remarried Mary Eliza 2 years later. Mary died in 1927. She and William are buried in Bonaventure Cemetery. Number 128 was built for Mary Dimery. Hey, that's how we pronounce the name down here. George Ashe was the builder. The family's American patriarch was Captain Raymond Dimery, a French Huguenot who entered British service. He arrived in Georgia in the mid-18th century and played a critical role in the defense and establishment of Fort Frederica on St. Simon's Island, serving under General James Oglethorpe. His son, Captain Paul Dimery, succeeded him and also commanded Fort Frederica. The Dimerys were instrumental in securing British interests in Georgia during a time when Spanish Florida posed an ongoing threat. By the 19th century, descendants of the Dimery line had moved into Savannah, becoming part of the city's upper social echelon. They owned properties, participated in civic affairs, and were buried in Laurel Grove and Bonaventure cemeteries.
Number 126 was built for the estate of Mary Dimery in 1872, adding to the Dimery family's property investments.
118 through 124 East Taylor were built by Adam Short and are among the oldest in Calhoun Ward. Adam was a prominent master builder and contractor with an office on Broughton Street, next to St. Andrew's Hall. His advertisements appeared daily in local newspapers during 1853 and 1854. In addition to residences, he also built infrastructure projects around the city. The red brick home at 116 East Taylor is relatively new. Beautiful, but not historically significant. Give 100 years or so. This pastel range, 108 through 114 East Taylor, was built for Simon Guggenheimer. Simon was a prominent Jewish merchant and entrepreneur. Born in Bavaria in 1830, he immigrated to the United States in 1851, initially settling in New York City. After saving funds through peddling, he moved to Georgia. By 1860, Guggenheimer was located in Savannah, where he built a successful wholesale tobacco business and also marketed groceries and flour. His store at 225 West Bay Street, built in 1893, is a well-known landmark. Simon died in 1900 and is buried in Laurel Grove Cemetery North. Born in September 1848 in Germany, John Cook immigrated to the United States and eventually settled in Savannah. He operated a grocery store and bar near his house at 412 Drayton Street. John was married to Annie Helm Ken, also of German descent. John passed away on November 15, 1906, of liver and pancreatic cancer at the age of 58. Annie died in 1938. Both were laid to rest in Bonaventure Cemetery. Captain Bennett was at the time of his death filling the position of Special Superintendent of the Central Railroad. He was a very popular personality, having also filled the positions of Chief of Police, City Marshal, Tax Collector, and Lumber Inspector. He had also been a lumber dealer. He was twice married, and after his second union, moved to Macon. He died at age 68 and is buried in Laurel Grove Cemetery North. 113 East Taylor is recorded as built for Julius Rousseau in 1855. However, Julius would have been 5 years old at the time. It might have been built for his father, Jules, but Jules died 2 years earlier. We suspect that the construction was already commissioned at the time of Jules' death. Jules, born in France in 1811, was a very well-known merchant, dealing comestibles from pickles, meats, cheese, cigars, and wines. Jules and wife, Maria, are buried at Laurel Grove Cemetery North.
This towering residence at 421 Abercorn Street, adjacent to the Rousseau residence, was built for Sarah B. Clark in 1859. Not much is known about her. She was a member of Second Baptist Church and is named as contributing to various social activities. She must have been rather wealthy, judging by the opulence of this home. Lots such as this were usually reserved for civic institutions, but this home was erected instead, suggesting the status of the Clarks. A William P. Clark and wife, Sarah B. Clark, are buried in a large vault in Laurel Grove Cemetery North. Perhaps these are the ones. The building is now owned by Wesley Monumental Church. A plaque designates it as the Walker Memorial Building in honor of Mary Strozier Walker, who was a significant benefactor to the church. She and her husband, William, were natives of White Plains, Georgia. Both are buried in Bonaventure Cemetery.
As we stroll across Taylor Square, let's enjoy the landscape plantings, set in the genteel tradition of Savannah's finest squares, offering a living tribute to beauty, order, and repose. This beauty at 426 Abercorn Street was built for Dr. David Easton Young in 1855. Dr. Young studied at Princeton and received his MD degree at the University of Pennsylvania in 1846, with studies in tuberculosis. He returned to Savannah, where he practiced until 1880, when he died of cancer. He served for a time as assistant surgeon in the Independent Volunteer Regiment of Savannah. Dr. Young is buried in Laurel Grove Cemetery North. Thanks for watching our video, Calhoun Ward, Part 1. Join us for Part 2 as we journey deeper into Savannah's storied past, uncovering the legacy of the Massey Heritage Center, viewing the solemn grandeur of Wesley Monumental Church, and digging into the mysteries hidden beneath Taylor Square. From antebellum education to Methodist revival and whispers of graves beneath the grass, the past is not only remembered, it rises to meet us. Don't miss it.